So this is our like penultimate summer episode. So it starts off with like a pretty beefy skull caverns run, which is nice. And then we get a little heavier into some of the like fall prep work we're gonna do. And then tying up some loose ends, so it'll be nice to get rid of some of the stuff that's been being put off for a while, just because we get a little stretch of bad luck, so we'll just jump into it. This run, I don't know why it went so well. We had pretty good luck, but we ended up just with a crazy amount of iridium. Like we're already over 300. It's a little bit later than last time, but it wasn't even a magic rock candy day or anything, so it's kind of nice to see another successful Skull Caverns run. Whenever I rewatch these, it makes me want to do another min-max run that is more or less forgiving, I guess, more like intense overall. But I know that takes a lot of work, and it takes forever to do. I mean, you're looking at, I don't know, probably a couple hours per day doing like a more intense run. So I don't know, I kind of want to do it, but I kind of don't. So anyway, yeah. This is mostly going to be, like I said, focusing on wrapping up some loose ends and just taking care of stuff that we've just been needing to do for a really long time. And then I guess we're finally getting our jade filled up, which is nice too. And this is a rare time, so I forget to use a rain totem. And I also pass out outside, which is kind of weird. It's not very common for me. I don't know why that happened, but anyway, the next day we got really bad luck, or bad luck, I guess. So yeah, it's perfect time to take care of all the other stuff. I kind of like it when it's not storming anyway, so it works out. I get a little bit less battery, but it doesn't matter. So we're gonna do some fishing today for the first time in a really long time, just to take care of some of the fishing bundles. And we're gonna turn in all of the community center stuff that's taking up inventory space, as well as donating museum things, start getting our kegs moved into our shed, and then hopefully move our shed and potentially move the or upgrade the coop. So a couple little things we got to do. We also need to give, no, I don't think we can talk to Demetrius. We can't give him a gift though, because I think he's maxed out for the week. And that's essentially all we have to do today. There's not a ton, but it's all kind of time consuming, especially when it comes to the fishing aspect. Because I think today we need a sturgeon, we need a tuna, a tilapia, a wood skip, a pufferfish, and I think that's it. And I think we're successful in getting all those except for maybe the pufferfish, which is kind of a pain just because of the window. You get like a 4-hour window that you can catch them, so I probably don't get it, but I might. And then I was really hoping to have more animal stuff ready to donate. It'd be nice to have like the eggs so I can get rid of my chickens, and the milk to get rid of my cow. Not that they really do anything, but... And then I can't remember why I had that pine tar down there. It's just been sitting there. I don't know why. I really need maple trees. That's why I come out here sometimes. I check to see if the maple trees regrow, but I left them as stumps, so they'll never regrow. And so I just go away. I don't actually like check up on, or I don't actually like chop them down so they can regrow. So yeah, I'll plant a maple tree probably at some point. And I need maple just for the chef's bundle. But yeah, so here I'm just gonna try and get a tuna. Tunas are pretty easy to fish up. It doesn't take very long. I think this is a tuna right off the bat. And then a tilapia I also need. So, truck noise. Dang it. Some of that's gonna get picked up, and I don't know if I can do anything about that. I'll edit it out, obviously, as much as I can, so it's not like mega loud truck noise in the background. That'll be a little jarring, but anyway, I got those 2 fish from the ocean. Sturgeon is one of the harder to catch, but it's pretty easy to get. Same with wood skip. I had to just go in the secret woods real quick for that. But yeah, you can see like on these days, like I've passed up tons of forage, I've passed up all kinds of stuff, and I'm not really playing these days in like a full-blown min-max approach. Like there's so much forage in here that I could grab, but I have one focus, and that's it, just to get rid of some CC bundles. And you can tell, like with this, like I can tell when I have a carp because it just sits at the bottom. And I don't need carp, I don't need the money from carp, and I don't need the energy from carp. So I just back out. Like this I know is a wood skip because it moved. And yeah, I just keep rolling. Kind of trying to knock these things off in a decent order. I tried to check, or tried to go catch the, oh my god, what do I do? I'm just running into bushes. What did I try and catch here? I think a sunfish or something. But I do fish a couple other weird spots to try and knock a few things off, but I think I do get a sunfish. Yeah, so I don't know. It was nice to fish again in a weird way, because I kind of like it when it's rare, not like in a burst of 10 days of fishing. But it's a kind of fun little mini game. I think this is a sunfish. Because it's not very erratic. So there's another one off the list. So yeah, I do try and go get the not the quillfish. I keep wanting to call it a quillfish, which is the Pokemon version of a pufferfish. I tried for like an hour to get it. I didn't get it, so I just move on. And if I had done this right, I should have done wood skip to sunfish, to tuna, to pufferfish, to sturgeon. That would have been the optimal route. And I wouldn't restart for that again. It's not really worth it. As again. If this was a true min-max run, I would have done the Joja Mart route anyway, so I wouldn't have needed to fish. So yeah. And here's like the sturgeon. I think I get lucky with sturgeon and catch it in like 2 or 3 casts, but you can tell a sturgeon pretty well as well because they're pretty erratic. And like that's a carp. You get carp. At some point you'll memorize like every pattern and realize you've spent way too much time playing Stardew Valley. Like I think I'm finally over 1,000 hours on PC. Plus like 200 hours on the Switch, which is maybe not a thing to brag about. But you know, what are you gonna do? See, I knocked out a couple bundles. That tiger trout is almost always one of my last things just because it's in fall. And I missed a sardine in spring, so I have to fish for a sardine in fall, but that's easy. Bulletin board, I'm not super worried about. I'm mostly focused on getting the pantry done. And I think it's called, the pantry, because that's where the greenhouse comes from, and that's where you can take care of cooking stuff in there, you can take care of everything in there. It's so nice. And there's my laziness. I don't know if I'll do it on this run, but at some point, I usually gamble a lot in the casino and buy like 1,000 totems. So I don't have to walk anywhere or anywhere back to my farm, you know. I don't ever buy the return scepter because the totems are so easy to get, and I'll just use the totems forever. But I'm gonna fertilize some of those trees because I'm really annoyed with my oak forest not being completely done still. And then cleaning up all this. I should really lay more pathing down, but I did not. And what else am I doing today? I don't even really remember. I know I'm moving that some of that wine around. That's pretty pretty mild. You can leave the wine if you want, it doesn't matter, but I like to keep it in the sheds, you know. And then just keep making kegs. It's a super chill day. I can't wait until I have all my keg stuff on one day, like on Saturdays, and I can just, you know, pop into those and really have the money machine in full gear, you know. Because I think at this rate, it's going to take me a pretty long time to get through all my starfruit. So I think I'll probably have like 2,000 starfruit-ish, and I'll only have maybe 400 kegs, and so that'll take a little while, a couple weeks to get through all of it. So by the time I'm done with that, I should have a full crop of starfruit in the greenhouse, so I'll be able to hopefully keep the machine going a little bit, and then I'll have to deal with pumpkins and putting those into jars. So soon I'll need a lot of coal to make jars, and I'll be able to make, or not jars, but they're called jars, right? Some kind of canning jar. What are they called? Preserves jar? So at some point I gotta make a ton of those, and that won't be until like the 9th or 10th of fall. And once my first crop of pumpkins goes in, or is harvested, I can switch my profession to artisan and sell all this stuff, because I can't sell any of this until I have the perk. I can, but it's worth like 40% less, so I'm definitely not going to do that. Oh, I didn't move the shed. Maybe she's working on something. Is she working on the coop? And I don't remember? I don't know, maybe I'll move that stuff tomorrow. I just know I need to, or want to. Oh yeah, I got a red cabbage seed. I don't know if I mentioned that. And I didn't plant it because I couldn't remember if it would be harvestable in time. So I'm just going to wait for the greenhouse to do that. I think I may have mentioned it before, but if not, that's the deal. And another really bad luck day, by the way. Today is like a super bad luck day. So I'm doing more chores, which is like Demetrius stuff, if I can. I'm going to buy all my deluxe speed grow because it is the last Thursday before fall. I'm going to buy the wheat and start expanding my farm. And then moving all the kegs, the coop, the shed, and all that. I know I mentioned in the last episode that I wasn't going to change over to iridium sprinklers quite yet. And that's still true, but I did start a little bit today. Mostly to show an example of how I usually do it, even though it's not necessarily the most efficient way to do it. Sometimes when you have a really bad luck day, you have to kind of find things to fill the time in at least a little bit of an efficient way. So you'll see me do that in a little bit here. And then with the kegs, I'm using like the pretty standard layout. It's like this is the pretty standard layout you use to maximize your space. And once I get a bigger shed, I'll have to move everything again, which is a little annoying, but it'll be a similar pattern. But anyway, I'm gonna go to give Demetrius a gift and go to the desert just to get the rock candy and the deluxe speed grow. I'm gonna buy an additional 1,000 just to be optimistic. I don't know if I'll necessarily make an additional 1,000 spaces, but I might. And yeah, I'd rather have extra than not enough. So yeah. And then we're gonna get that coop, and that's mostly for the ducks. I'll probably do. I'll probably do one duck, but maybe I'll do just a ton of ducks. If I do a ton of ducks, though, then I have to move the coop so that you have access to water. Because I don't know if you've seen it before, but if you have the coop next to water, the ducks will swim around. And that's nothing to do with min-maxing, obviously, but I like it. So there's that. Maybe I'll do that. The problem is that I won't remember to do that. Like I'll record this and then I'll go do something else. And I'll come back and just be like, oh, I forgot I like ducks. And because I get in kind of a mindset of having to min-max the day, you know, so. Anyway. So yeah, go to the desert. What is it? It's $80 per deluxe speed grow. So what is that, 80 grand? So it's not too bad. And then an additional 10,000 for wheat. So if I do, what is it, 1,900 pumpkins? That's, so I think it's 100 per seed. So it's 190,000. So this whole setup, it is about as much as the 1 day of starfruit. But the next time I have to do it, yeah, 190,000 each time isn't so bad for a much bigger size crop. And so here's what I'm talking about. Right now I'm kind of looking at spacing and to see where I'm going to destroy my crops. So I'll destroy a crop and place down an iridium sprinkler because they don't quite fit the same layout. And then, oh, you know what? I made a mistake today, and that was I sold all my iridium when I actually needed it for making iridium sprinklers. So that's the main reason I had to kind of change my plan today, and I only had to, I couldn't lay out all my sprinklers, only a few. But anyway, I got off on a weird tangent there for a moment. I was kind of measuring out where I'm going to put my iridium sprinklers because they don't go in the same place as the quality sprinklers do. So it requires me to destroy some of the starfruit to place them now. Again, you don't have to do this, and you can do all this on the last day, but I prefer to do it earlier, I guess, or at least get it started. So yeah, I'll destroy each area, place down a path, come back through, and place the sprinklers. And now that I have this top row, it'll be a lot easier for me mentally to place the next, all the other rows and columns of sprinklers. So yeah, again, you don't have to do this, but you can. And it just takes forever because you need to mine out a crop, place the sprinkler, and then once you're finished with that, you have to pickaxe up all the sprinklers, and then re-hoe them, re-put down DSG, and re-water them. It's just kind of a long process, and it's not something you necessarily want to have to do in addition to planting your entire crop for fall. And I will have to do that, unfortunately, but I wanted at least to get a little bit of a start and kind of give you an idea of how it's going to end up looking. So it'll be a lot more open. It'll be a lot more efficient for placing seeds and for harvesting and for giant crops. But otherwise, it's not a huge difference. And then probably later this week, I will clear more space on my farm for those additional 1,000 pumpkins. But that's not something that we're going to do today. Or probably not. Well, next episode we have to. We actually don't have a choice. I'll probably do that on the 28th. Because next episode's just going to be, I think it'll be 26, 27, and 28. Maybe a little bit longer of one, depending on luck. And I also, last minute, decided to harvest up all those starfruit and just drop wheat in their place because I guess I had time. And since I have the time now, I won't have to do as much harvesting on the 28th, which will save me a fair bit of time. And all this wheat I plant now, even though it will be done on fall 1, I'm not going to actually harvest it. I'm going to harvest it all at one time so I have a nice clean crop. And I think I have until the 2nd or 3rd to plant my initial pumpkin crop and still have time for 3 harvests. But again, we'll get to that stuff in more detail once we're closer to it. Yeah. And then I built this little tiny path. I don't know why. You don't have to, but I guess I had some time. So, ooh, and I got my first my first full jade harvest. So this coming Sunday, we'll hopefully have a pretty decent skull cavern run. Especially if I have that rock candy. Anyway, I'll see you next time.